So good evening, good morning, and good afternoon from wherever you're from. Welcome to the COVID-19 Scholar Peer Hub General Assembly. That is the 4th General Assembly, and it's 17th of August 2020. Hi, I am Shalini, and with me I have Charlotte, who is from the Scholar team, and Alain and François Gas, who's a veteran in immunization with decades of experience. We're lucky to have him here with us today. And welcome to all of you. And today's agenda is, as you know, what we're going to do is focus on what's going on in the Peer Hub. So we're going to sort of check to see whether you're up to date with exercise 1. And we're going to have participant presentations on your project. And basically, our focus is going to be on your priority challenge and why it's important, what your specific goal is. And if you've achieved this goal, what will be different? And then we'd love to hear you summarize 3 actions that you would take to achieve your goal. And then a brief on what you all are going to do next week. So this is how we're going to move on in this presentation. And so there are some ground rules that you all need to follow to make your messages visible to everybody. Please select all panelists and attendees and in the chat box, and you can add whatever comments you have. And if you want to ask any questions, then what you need to do is click onto the Q&A button, and you can also vote for the best questions, or you can comment on the questions as well. So what you all needed to do was join the Skype group. And I hope by now most of you have joined the Skype group. And to join Skype, what you needed to do was go on to learning.foundation and search for Skype, or how to join Skype, your country group in Skype, and how to join Telegram. And from there, there were links given for specific countries. And before that, what you needed to do was to download Skype on your device and then click onto your country Skype group and go there directly. So I hope you all have done this, and here are some steps that you guys who haven't done it need to follow. That is Skype, sign into Skype by going into this URL and then click on the video button to start a call, because we wanted you all to use this platform to engage with your country groups, and then to join the call and to have constructive discussions on your project and to meet all the members of your country groups. Now, first thing that you need to think about is, have you submitted your first mandatory Peer Hub report? So the thing is that the deadline is Friday, 21st August, and here's the link. So if you haven't done so what you can do is log on to it and fill up the Peer Hub report. Then submitting the Peer Hub report is the single condition for staying in Peer Hub, and it's important, and therefore you're encouraged to complete this report. And even if you haven't been able to complete all of your Peer Hub activities, and this report takes more, we think that won't take more than 10 minutes to complete. And what we would expect from this report is to get some feedback or share back the most important and useful insights that will help Peer Hub participants who are working to keep vaccination going throughout the pandemic. So therefore, please do fill this up. Then the second most important thing that you needed to do was join Peergrade. Now, Peergrade is a platform where you need to submit your project and also do the peer review. And the peer review would be done of other scholars' projects, and you have to provide constructive feedback to them. So when they submit the initial draft of their project this week, so what you're going to do next week is review their projects, give them constructive feedback, but you have to keep in mind that the initial draft of your project would have to be submitted by Friday on 21st August before midnight Geneva time. So please keep that in mind, and I hope you all have joined Peergrade. I would say that if you haven't, it's time to do it now after the Global Assembly ends, and ensure that you follow the instructions on how to develop your initial draft of your project, and then you submit it on Peergrade. So, sorry. So the number of scholars who've already joined Peergrade are 63. And here are the names of the scholars who have already joined Peergrade. But having said so, you still have time, and you can absolutely join anytime before the 21st. And remember, you have to submit your assignment here. So we encourage you to join in. And here's a screenshot which shows you where you would be going and where you would be submitting your project. And you can see this green button where you will be submitting your initial draft. And from there, you need to upload your draft from your laptop or whatever device you're using and upload it. And if you haven't joined Peergrade yet, so what you can do is follow the instructions on learning.foundation. There is a video tutorial by Ja, which shows you exactly step by step and very clearly on how to join Peergrade. And if you're still having difficulties to join Peergrade, what you can do is join the daily support session with Alain. And these sessions are held from Tuesday to Friday at 11 a.m. Geneva time. And if you're having if you want to work through your project and you want to solve a problem in any technical issues that you may have in navigating the different platforms used in the exercise, this is where you need to be, because Alain is the guru who would be able to guide you really well. And as I said, it's at 11 a.m. Geneva time from Tuesday to Friday, and it's a 30-minute session. In case you cannot join, don't worry about it, because in learning.foundation, you can still watch the videos of these sessions. The third important thing is, how are you doing with your project? And your one goal this week was to submit your initial project before midnight Geneva time. So I'm sure you all are progressing, but as I said, if anyone's having any issues, please do reach out to us. And there are lots of ways of reaching out to us. You can send us an email, you can reach out to us in Telegram. You can also take the help of the Scholar alumni who are extremely active in the Telegram groups. So please do not wait, reach out. Then the peer-reviewed exercises. So right now we're in exercise 1, week 2. That's the week of 17th to 21st August. And as I said, you have to submit the initial version of your project. And what you need to do in this is focus on actions to achieve your goal. That is, how are you going to turn this this project into an action? Then search, there's always a great thing here that you can search through ideas engine for useful ideas which you think that would help you in your project, and you can adopt them in your country's context. Now, what you need to remember is to be concise and practical and make it easy to understand for the person who's reviewing your project, and it should be really catered to your context or your situation. Then what should be in your project? So first thing to do is to identify your priority challenge, then set your specific goal. define your actions, cite your sources, and check the feasibility and credibility of your entire project. And for this, there is a template that you all can use. And what you need to do is go to learning.foundation, and that's where you will find the template. So if you haven't done so, please do go to learning.foundation, go to the COVID-19 Peer Hub, and then click on it in My Scholar, and then you'll find all these video tutorials. And week-wise, there are these tutorials and instructions which are given to you. You can download this template and fill it up for your project. And there's also a rubric which is being given, you know, which has, the rubric as a guide, or it gives you instructions on how you're supposed to fill this template up and what you're supposed to be writing in it. So the first question is, in the template, you will see, what do you want to achieve? So what you need to do is add your title. You do not need to write your name, because it will be automatically recorded when you submit your project. So please do not put your name. And then you need to write your country's name and where you work, your postal address, the GPS coordinates. Now, some people have asked that if they're working somewhere while they're living somewhere else, so we'd encourage you to put the GPS coordinates of the place where you're working, or the city where you're working, district. And your level in the health system, your challenge, and your goal. This is pretty straightforward. And then part one is focus on the actions, focus for actions, that is prioritize one challenge and set a specific goal and justify this focus. Then what you need to do is, identify the action steps. So this is the part two of the template that you need to fill out. And what you need to think about is a specific action and provide details on how you're going to do it. And always keep in mind the who, what, where, and how, which is really going to help you, you know, come to a crisp detail that you need to define. So if you keep that in mind, you will do well. Then cite your sources and references. Now, if you see this table, in this, what you can do is go to Ideas Engine. You all have been there. And you can pick and choose the idea which you think is in sync with something that is there, that the challenge in your challenge you're describing, and you can use that idea. But what you need to do is cite that idea from Ideas Engine. So what you need to do is write the title of the idea and provide the ID number, which is also there, and the name of the author. But if you have any other citations that you're using, which could be some documents or resources from your country or WHO or other sources, so what you can do is just put it below the table. And that's where you cite all the other references. Then for the resources to guide you, there are loads of them, which are on learning.foundation. And there's the rubric. As I said, the rubric is a guide. And the guide is going to tell you how to follow the steps and how you are going to create your project. And it has a very, very concise explanation on that. In case you haven't downloaded it, please do. And there are also tutorials which explain the criterion of the rubric. So I don't think you'll have any problem, but as I said, in case you have any technical issues with that, then you can reach out to us, or you can join Alai's session from Tuesdays to Fridays, or you can watch the video resources and recordings. Now, the thing that you have to keep in mind is please do not confuse the rubric and the template. And so the rubric is the guide, and the template is what you're going to do your project in. So you have to write your project in this. It's a Word document. So you have to keep it in Word. And then once you're done, you're happy with your your initial draft, that's when you upload it onto Peergrade. And as Rada always says, please do not suffer in silence. And if you need help with your project, reach out to us. And you can even take help from your peers, or you can ask the Scholar team. As I said, you can reach us on Telegram, you can reach us on WhatsApp, you can even send an email to us, and we will respond as soon as possible. So, and there are these great sessions by François Gas and Charlotte Embu. They're the daily lightning sessions, which are also held from Tuesday to Friday at 6 p.m. Geneva time. And the purpose of these sessions, as I told you earlier, is to share your experience and discuss the activities in Peer Hub, including how to analyze your challenge and to come up with some good action steps. So I would really encourage you to join these sessions because they're absolutely fantastic, and they give more perspective and they give you a clearer idea on how to approach your project and what would good action steps be. So I would say please don't miss it, but in case you're very busy and you do not have the time, you can always go back to learning.foundation and watch the videos of these sessions which are uploaded there. So you won't miss it, and do try and join whenever you can. I hope you all had a great remote coffee session with the peers who had been matched with you, but some of you probably are still waiting for responses. What the remote coffee was an idea which helps people come together, scholars come together, and you would have received an email where you were matched with someone else in Peer Hub, and the idea was to have a remote coffee session with 2 people, but in case you haven't really done that, please do not worry. And in these sessions, the idea was to discuss your project with your remote coffee partners and share ideas with each other and give or receive any support that is needed by you or your coffee partners. In case you haven't been able to do it, we understand that you're really busy with your the initial draft of your project. So people also might be busy because of their job priorities. You can also reach out to your colleagues or peers on Telegram and have a remote coffee with them. So please do not stress about this. Now we wanted to see if you were able to connect with your remote coffee mates. So we got 102 responses through the feedback that you all had given to us. And 87 people said that they were able to connect with the scholar that was matched with them, and 15 couldn't. And the people who responded, 56 said that they were able to connect with the scholar who was matched when they got in touch with them, and 46 were not. But we got some fantastic feedback about remote coffee, which I would like to share with you. Some people said that they had a sense of solidarity. That is a quote from one of the scholars who said, having the opportunity to chat and know about how other countries are handling their challenges is a plus, where you can relate and learn about international perspectives. And the scholar realizes that the challenges in his or her country are similar to other countries, and the only difference is governments, policies, and guidelines. And another scholar found it an exciting online connection, and said that he learned to share ideas and to socialize in Peer Hub and to make friends with someone from neighboring countries to achieve the goal towards vaccination. Then some scholars felt that there was mutual support, and he said that he or she said that we discussed about COVID-19 pandemic situation in our countries and about our ideas in exercise 1, and decided to keep in touch forever and help each other, which is great, to finish Peer Hub as well as in future endeavors too. And there were a few scholars who said that they felt that was a great learning opportunity. One said that it was awesome. I learned that patience and understanding should always be the core value. And another one said that I have learned that being connected with other scholars brings more wisdom and helps expand one's knowledge about immunization services. And it was an amazing experience in which I learned about what my remote coffee mates are doing in their area and how by adopting universal actions we can improve our work. So do not worry, as I said, if your remote coffee mate did not work out for you, reach out to your peers in the country group or connect with authors of ideas you find useful in the Ideas Engine, and you'll have many more opportunities to connect in the Peer Hub. So we'll move on to the participant presentations. And what I would encourage the participants to do is answer 3 of these questions. You would have 5 minutes of your time. You can also share your screen. And the 3 questions are, and of course, before you start, you have to remind us who you are and where you work. And the questions are, what is your priority challenge? Why is it important? What you need to do is be brief. And what is your specific goal? If you achieve this goal, what will be different? And summarize 3 actions that you would take to achieve this goal. So I would encourage the participants to raise their hands. And I would like to invite Martha, if she could unmute her mic. Martha Nago, if you could unmute your mic. Hi, Martha.
Hi, Shalini. Yes, Shalini.
Hi, welcome. It's a pleasure to have you. And I would like to request you to present your challenge with us. And please remind us who you are and where you're from and where you work. And it would be great if you could also tell the scholars how to submit the assignment once you tell us about your challenge, your specific goal, and 3 actions as well. And then, as I told you, we are very grateful to have François Gas and Charlotte to help you think through about what actions you should take and to help guide you in this perspective, in this venture. Martha, over to you, please.
Thank you, Shalini. Hi, everyone. I'm Martha Ngwe from Buea, Cameroon. I work for the Ministry of Public Health, precisely the Regional Technical Group for EPI Southwest Region. So please, I don't know if I should share my screen, Shalini.
Yes, you can share a screen. So I'm going to allow you. Yeah, you can go ahead and share.
Your level of, where do you work? At what level? Sorry,
At the
François speaking. At the
subnational.
Subnational, okay.
Okay. So actually, please, can you see my screen?
Yes, we can.
Okay. So my challenge is the drop in attendance of preventive services, including immunization services in health facility, which is probably linked to the fear of contamination and the plethora of rumours against immunization. And this is important because with the plethora of rumour and the fear of contamination that has hit all the regions in Cameroon, the 10 regions in Cameroon, Southwest is not left out, but the context of Southwest is also specific because it is also a region that is suffering from a socio-political crisis with insecurity, and hence most of the communities members in the communities have been displaced. And so this region is suffering a double penalty, the COVID-19 on one hand, and then this instability on the other hand. So just when the March, when we received the first COVID case in the country, This is when Piri was planned for the region, and as we went out for Piri, it was a three-round activity. We realized that at the level of the community, we had some vaccine hesitancy due to the plethora of rumors, and then and also because these people in this region, they feel like nothing good can come from the government because they have some bad pressure about the government that want to eliminate their population, and they really thought that whatever vaccine is coming to this population is coming to reduce the population. So there was that hesitancy, but that notwithstanding, we worked with the community leaders, and this is why my main goal is engaging the community to improve on routine immunization services in the context. And then, Liz, can you hear me?
Yes, yes, we can hear you loud and clear.
A success in this, realizing this goal will lead to a high coverage of immunization, which will obviously go ahead to reduce vaccine preventable disease, epidemics to vaccine preventable disease, because as of for last year, we had about 5 districts out of 18 which had a measles epidemic, and already in the country now we have 79 districts already with the measles epidemic. So we are thinking that really engaging the community, so that if the people at the community level, they are afraid to come to health facilities, we can reach out to them and improve on immunization coverage. So for the actions taken, the 3 I'll prioritize here. First of all is to engage stakeholders such as the administrative authorities, like mayors, parliamentarians, traditional religious leaders, and also civil society organizations that are present in this, and as well as other community members, that to engage them in immunization activity. The second activity or action is capacity building on health education, where we train the health workers on, and also we have to have a community informants, and they will be trained on risk communication, and these community informants will also be trained on routine immunization defaulters tracking system, and also on outreach services. And the third major action is resource mobilization. Since this region has been declared a humanitarian setting, we have international and local NGOs that operate in civil society. So we think that it's time they are there, but we can also use their presence to mobilize some of these resources, as well as the existing resources that exist in the communities. So on how I went about obtaining this information, I had to walk through learning information for the scholars who might still be having something. So it started all 2 weeks ago, where we're asked to work on our project that we produced on exercise 1 that was found on learning.foundation, activity 6, and activity 7, you have to identify the challenge you will work on for your exercise 1. On activity 8, there are some specific country resources that were shared from the very beginning of the orientation week. And there I could find my country guideline, the national guideline for the continuity of immunization activities in the context of COVID-19. Also, I had resources. Also, I had resources on please excuse me. I had resources on a kind of assessment that was done in the region on communication. And then, so I had some important resources that I used to develop my project. And then I also used, so when we come down to week 1, with peer-reviewed project week 1, we'll find out that we have the templates, which is the template that I've used to develop my project, and this is how it looks like So I've just removed what was highlighted with yellow, and then I put the title of what I want to work on.
Martha, we seem
Yes,
to
I
lost
can.
you. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm there. So I
Alright.
just said I have removed the highlighted portion, and
Right.
then I replaced it with the title I want to work on. And then still on this template, I went down for the referencing section. And then because I had some of my information, the idea about my action, I had some from the idea engine, so I had to take the title of that idea. This is it here that you can see, the ID number of that idea and the name of the author. That is what is expected for us to do at this level. But since this other document I used to justify my claims, or yeah, to support my claims, they are not part of this reference style in this box. I had to reference them right down here. So I used what was provided for us as information on the general the learning.foundation to do that. That is the rubric too, was a guide to me. So I used the rubric to build up my template. And then on the part of submitting, I've not submitted, so I'll submit right now. So I go to week 2 and I click on how to submit your project in Peergrade. So there is this demo here, and there are these instructions here. So I scroll and go down, and then we find out that there's a link that I can click and go to Peergrade. First of all, I copy the code because I require the code there. And then I click on the link to take me to Peergrade. This, can you see the Peergrade?
Yes, yes,
Okay.
we can.
So I paste the code and then I take next. So here we have the submit button. I click on submit. Okay. So here on this blue portion, I'll have to upload my document that I want to submit, which is a template that I have just key in my information for my initial project. So I look at the location and then I upload the document. So my document has uploaded and then I click submit. So I've just submitted my initial project.
Excellent.
So up here you find submission. And if you want to change or delete, you have the option. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much, Martha, for the fantastic presentation and for showing the demonstration on how to submit your project. And I'm sure it was extremely useful for everybody who haven't done that yet. So thank you very much. François, if you permit me, I think we can take one more presentation and then maybe you can work through their actions.
Mm-hmm.
Is that all
Yes.
right? Okay,
Yes,
great.
all right.
So we have one raised hand, and it's by Moses. So Moses, I'm going to unmute your mic. Can you please talk? All right. So Moses, if you can hear me, you can unmute your mic. Right. So Moses, we still cannot hear you. So maybe we'll wait for Moses to get back to us with his mic, and work out what's going on. So we have Mohammed Imran Qureshi, who's also raised his hand. I'm going to ask him to unmute his mic. Mohammed?
Thank you very much, Shalini, and
Hi,
thanks,
thank you.
colleague.
Welcome. Always great to have you.
Thanks a lot. Can I share my screen?
Yes, absolutely. So as you know, the ground rules are you have to identify where, you have to tell us where you're from and where you work, and you can share your screen. I can already see it, yes.
So thank you very much. Although I have not completed this exercise one, but whatever I have completed, I'll just go through it in the allotted time line. So firstly, this is the template which we have to use for this exercise one for the COVID peer hub. So you could see firstly is the challenge which we have to edit whenever we will get the template. And my challenge was suboptimal immunization coverage and VPD surveillance reporting during COVID-19 pandemic in Punjab, Pakistan. Although it's a broader challenge, and I would confess that it is not a narrow down challenge, and it's a big challenge which we are facing during this COVID pandemic. But I have deliberately chosen it because I'm working directly on it in my real life. So the country of focus is Pakistan, and where I work, I have already given the detailed address. It's basically the Emergency Operations Centers, 24 Cooper Road, Directorate General Health Services Complex, Lahore, Punjab, Pakistan. And I have already searched out for the GPS coordinates by using various opportunities given on the website. So I have precisely calculated the latitude and longitude and even the elevation, and I have put it accordingly. Then is the level of health system where I work is the provincial level, that is Punjab, Pakistan. And coming back to the description about my challenge, so I already explained I'm working as technical officer in EPI WHO Punjab, Pakistan. Although my main responsibilities are related to VPD and AFI surveillance and data, but contribute as an active member for all the EPI related activities, including technical discussion required to take planning and decisions. And then although both fixed and outreach vaccination services are continued during COVID pandemic, but still many children were missed from their due vaccination doses. Most affected antigen is pentavalent, as almost 1.6 to 8 million children did not receive either Penta 1, 2, or 3 doses of the vaccine. And the main reasons are shortage of vaccine supply, again the requirements against the requirements, and low demand for vaccine due to the fear for COVID, and variable services provided by the vaccination staff. This is important immunization challenge as such a huge number of children were never missed their vaccination in the past. Children will be affected the most, where there could be many vaccine preventable diseases, especially diphtheria and measles, and the possibility of outbreaks can never be ruled out that may lead to mortality and morbidity in this age group. This is especially important in developing countries like Pakistan, where contributory factors are always present, for example, malnutrition, illiteracy, and hygienic conditions. And then we could also have the vaccination is considered as the main defense and safeguard against all these diseases. So immunization stakeholders, especially EPI Cell Punjab, Pakistan, and then EPI Cell Punjab and partners are directly responsible. Provision of required number of vaccine doses for current targets and backlogs coverage. Restore all vaccination services back to the normal level and increase demand generation by addressing community concerns are main areas of focus in addressing this immunization challenge. So regular coverage data analysis, feedback, technical discussion, defaulters enlisting, enhanced outreach activity, and ensuring regular supply of required vaccine has been started. Although vaccine doses required for backlog coverage is still not addressed, but backlog to the normal in addressing the immunization challenge. So regular coverage data. So all the supply of required vaccine has been started, although vaccine doses required for backlog coverage is still to be addressed, but current target vaccine doses have been supplied. PPD surveillance strengthening has also been addressed by ensuring all the defaulter children vaccination. Vaccine preventable diseases can be prevented with mortality and morbidity decline in the biggest province of the country, which is more than 52% of the total population of the country. And my main goal is sustained immunization coverage, cover all the defaulter children and ensure optimum reporting of the vaccine preventable diseases so as to pick sporadic cases as well as the outbreaks if happening in the province and Pakistan. So these are main areas which so far I have just prioritized. And coming back to the main focus actions. So what I'm basically thinking around is basically like, firstly, if we know the exact problem, we could like prioritize our activities. So for the very first time in the program, whenever we go for the monitoring of immunization sessions and for household surveys and clusters, so we have realized that the defaulter children enlisting is always the problem. And I believe this is the first and foremost and most important monitoring indicator to be observed in the field. So whenever I go and found that the vaccinators are working in the field, in the outreach sessions, so I just request them to show me the defaulters list. But generally, I could not find a very detailed and comprehensive defaulters list. Either they are missing, no defaulter list is present, or if present, they are not updated. So what we actually thought by sitting in the province, we realized that why this is a gap in our immunization program. Then we noticed, and during COVID pandemic, it was even important to track all the defaulters. So what we actually thought, we just pushed from the provincial level that the district should provide us the list of defaulter children. And now districts have already been started compiling the defaulters list from the vaccinators. So this is the most important aspect which we are dealing. And now enlisting of the defaulters has already been started at the union council level, and they are being compiled at the district level and will be shared at the provincial level. So this is one. And the second is we will make sure to arrange the vaccine for the defaulters children. Currently, the current stock is available, but the vaccine for the defaulter children is yet a challenge. So provincial office is just trying their level best to arrange it from the federal office. This is my second focus. And third focus will be the enhanced outreach activity, or the regular outreach activities, which should like cover all these defaulter children in the form of smartly planned sessions, maybe in the form of periodic intensification of routine immunization, or maybe enhanced outreach activity, or maybe another thing which we are like planning is basically to have an immunization week. Although we regularly celebrate immunization week, but to address all these defaulter children, so we are planning to have another.
It's gone.
I think we've lost Imran. Can you hear us? No, I think we've lost Imran. Imran? So yeah, I think we've lost him. So he'd probably be back. His audio seems to have gone, which is, we know that we all struggle with internet issues and it happens to all of us. So I'm sure he'll be back. So Francois, would you, the floor is yours now. So what we can do is start with Martha's presentation if you have any pointers and questions for her.
Thank you, and hello to everyone. Thank you for giving me the floor. I have listened with a lot of interest of Martha's presentation, which I found that she defined very well the attendance, the drop in attendance, the challenge she wants to address, which I would think is a general challenge for all countries. It's not a specific, very specified challenge, but it's a general observation. And when the attendance drops, the coverage drops. But what she has analyzed well is that she said the biggest problem were the fear, the political issue, the impossibility to organize peer year-round. And she decided to address this through a goal, engage communities. And for me, I felt that the engagement of communities need to be very specific, because how do you going to say community is engaged? So I would like you to clarify a little bit more how you will monitor that your objective, your idea was to engage communities. You said, you mentioned that you will have capacity building and you will have some tools and some mobilize them some money, but I feel that we are lacking a little bit on how you're going to do that. Those actions are general actions, and how in practice you're going to do that. Could you give me sort of an answer on how you're going to do in concrete the risk management, the mobilization effort? Because I think everybody needs money. Everybody needs mitigation and in order to reduce the risk. And can you clarify a little bit better?
Okay, thank you, Francois. Involving the community, just because I had during the presentation, I just highlight 3 of the actions. So some of the actions involving the community will be involved in the scheduling routine immunization based on the data-driven decisions for outreach sessions. And then the community informants will also give the caregivers, we also mobilize the caregivers for appointment right ahead of time. So these community informants are right there in the community, and they will be the ones to do that. The community informants also will take part in these outreach activities. They will also be provided with the right PPE to conduct outreach services in selected communities based on the situation analysis. And also the community leaders will be the ones to really specify which areas will be good for outreach services, since these people, they don't want to come again to the health facility. Maybe we used to have just 1 or 2 posts in a particular community. Maybe they can provide even beyond that community some other areas that can be delineated for community outreach. Those are some of the ways that the community.
A second question would be, you said you were at subnational level and you are covering 18 districts, which is quite a huge amount of population. How do you get this idea implemented in practice, given the fact that you are a subnational level and you are running 18 districts? So how do you make your ideas getting implemented at health facility level and at community level? What's your process? What are the actions you've taken from your role?
Thank you. We don't working at subnational level. We work as a team. We work, the head of the team is the regional delegate for public health. That is the head of the region. And they will also have the EPI manager for the region. We have the district medical officer. So the district medical officers, they are the key actors here also that give us the information as to what is happening in the district. Then these community leaders and opinion leaders, they come in and together we plan with them as to what to do.
And you plan with what you do, but do you have the resources to do it, or you still have to mobilize resources for it?
We just finished with the first round of the three rounds of Peergrade, in which UNICEF that sponsored the Peergrade was satisfied with some extent with the results, and they are there to do some more. And we have, since it's a humanitarian kind of region, we also have partners on ground. We always have meetings with them on Tuesdays, weekly meetings on Tuesdays, where we give a feedback as to what is happening and what we think can better the situation. So all these people are there that can help push forward.
That's excellent, and I appreciated your table with your idea and the action to take, and with whom you do it and when you do it. I think this is a very concrete illustration of for your project to make everybody understand what is your objective. And maybe my last question, your plan is part of the continuity plan, or did you have to add this project to complement an existing plan while being in line with the strategic direction given by the continuity plan? Are all subnational level doing the same, but you add something, or is it more on your area because of the insecurity and all of those issues?
It's part of the recently it's part of the recent national guidelines from the national EPI. So the guideline gives room for people to come out with projects with really feasible projects that can reach out to the community. So this guideline was out in June, just about 2 months now. So I think it was just timely for this pay help exercise so that we can look into these guidelines and then see how we adopt it in our own context. Yeah.
Okay. And how will you judge with your specific goal? How will you judge you have achieved the engagement of communities?
We would judge the progress of what is happening based on the number of outreaches planned and how many are successful, the coverage, if there's increment in the general immunization coverage base, because we know we don't have some kind of turnout in the health facility. If there is increment, we know that these outreaches are yielding some fruits.
Okay, thank you very much, and thank you for showing a very detailed project. I think that can be also very useful for all the people who are listening today and who want to use your project. Thank you, Martha.
Thank you, Martha. Thank you, Francois. Thank you very much. And I'll see if Imran can unmute himself. Imran?
Yes, thank you.
Yes, and Francois, over to you.
Yes, I'm looking at Imran. Okay. Imran, thank you for sharing the details of your challenge. And I had one clarification I needed from your end. Finally, you explained it a bit better, but there was a sort of vaccine shortage, not for the routinization, but for the defaulters, which become your major idea. In practice, your enlisting was considering the most important activities that you were going to do. As you say, many enlisting don't exist, and you consider that enlisting defaulters. And I think this is such a very concrete idea that you are putting in place. And it's you need to be, I think for this idea to be clear, you need to detail what exactly special action you will do to make sure that there is a list and enlisting of all defaulters in every community. We all know you have some lady health worker. Are they in charge of those enlisting or not? Could you be more specific on how you're going to make the enlisting of defaulter work?
Thank you very much for this valuable comments and this explanation. And what I'm seeing in the chat, many of the colleagues are appreciating and encouraging, which is like quite motivating to all of us. So thank you for that reasons. So coming back to the two aspects which you have just discussed. Firstly is the supply chain of the required number of vaccine doses. So as you know, this COVID pandemic, the challenge was to provide the required number of vaccine doses adequately and timely to all the levels, especially the level where these are consumed, that is the fixed and outreach sessions. So what we have actually noticed that because the vaccine is basically provided by the federal EPI in Pakistan to the provinces, and provinces just make their own financial share, they put their demand. The unfortunate aspect, you know, because of the seaport and airport closing during this COVID pandemic and lockdown situation. So although the manufacturing lines were working, but this supply chain was disturbed mainly because the seaports and airports were closed, and country could not have the required number of vaccine doses despite of all the funds and all other reasons. So the thing is that now the situation is getting improved day by day. And the most important antigen which was like affected is pentavalent. So now the vaccine supply is available. The country is getting restore all the challenge, and they are getting the required number of doses. But again, the current required target vaccine doses are now available. But again, the challenge was, if you want to cover all the defaulters, you have to have vaccine. But for that reasons, now they are like estimating all the defaulter children vaccine, which is really required. And now they are putting like request to the federal EPI to provide those required number of vaccine doses to cover all the defaulter children. Now coming back to the defaulters enlisting, what actually we are doing, previously after realizing this situation from the federal and from the provincial level, we are like not only writing the official letters and giving the directions and requests to the people working in the on the ground, but also like developing the specific templates, sharing with the colleagues, and by name listing is basically required. And now the districts colleagues from partners, they are following it up in their specific districts, and this enlisting of defaulters has already been started, because the director API is also thinking to impose the restriction to on the people and on the API supervisors, that they would only get the vaccine once they will be providing the defaulters children list. So these defaulter children list has already been started. We came to know many of the districts have already completed by the support of these lady health workers and other vaccination staff and preventive outreach team who are working in the union council level. And now these compilations are being like finalized at the district level, and now we some of the districts has already shared it with the provincial level. So coming back again, although it's difficult to ensure that all 100% defaulter children enlisting has already been achieved, but yes, they are putting their level best and exploring all the available options to ensure the complete defaulter list is available, and from there on the vaccine will be provided and the children will be covered. Over.
Thank you. I had a gap in the network. Even in Spain, you can have gaps in network. So I redid it. One thing, thank you for all your explanation. One thing you mentioned, enhanced outreach. So of course, if you have the list, it's a beautiful step and your idea is magic. If you get, as you say, as much as enlisting you can have, but you need to be able to offer the vaccine and the mothers to accept the vaccine. If they are not enlisted, maybe it's because they fear the virus. So how do you make sure that the mothers who have now enlisted as defaulters will accept vaccination when it comes?
Thank you very much, François. The most important aspect in immunization is basically to addressing refusals as well. So, you know, refusals are of many types. Some are soft refusals, some are rigid refusals, and some are refusals because they have certain concerns. They are basically not refusals strictly, but they are like sort of a hesitant, vaccine hesitancy, you could say, because of COVID fear in this situation. So what we actually have done, we have regularly improved our IEC information for the parents, information, education, and communication. We have developed certain tools and certain materials which will help all these concerns like from the ideas engine, if you have noticed, one of the idea which I basically shared in the start was establishing a proper help desk at the district level to deal with the parents and caregivers concern and to provide them the required information. So we will be using such tactics in order to address the community concerns. Over.
Thank you very much. I think, you know, when you, I think maybe it will be very good if in your detailed project, you enlist that complementary activity, which is essential for that the women who were defaulters with their children will accept to be vaccinated when they are enlisted. And obviously one idea may need several actions to make it successful. So I wish you great success. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you so much, Imran, and thank you so much, Francois. And we had one more, in fact, two hands raised, but we're running out of time. So there's Kura Juve and there was Mir. And I would encourage them to join the daily lightning sessions because we're really sorry that we're running out of time. So we won't be able to, you know, we won't be able to have your presentations today. But thank you very much. And I would like to move on. So coming to the most important question, what will happen next week? I'm sure you're all curious. So you have one goal next week, which is the peer review of the 3 peers projects. And this will open post midnight on Friday on Peergrade. And what you need to do is review the projects of your peers, that is 3 peers. And it's a very, very important responsibility that you're going to be entrusted with. And your peers are going to depend on your feedback as you will depend on them, because when you do 3 peer reviews, somebody else will be doing the peer review of your project as well. And that is 3 peers. So do your best to honor this commitment. And if you're not sure about how to do the peer review in Peergrade, again, there is this tutorial that is on learning.foundation that will be there. They'll be uploaded there. And what you need to do is watch the steps on how to do peer review and how to give constructive feedback. The feedback's really important because based on your feedback, your peers are going to improve upon their projects and make it more crisp and better, and then they would be submitting it, you know, as their final project. So this is one activity that you have for next week. And now what you need to do, as you always do, is to join your country colleagues using Skype. And you will know by now how to join Skype. As I told you earlier, what you need to do, if you haven't done so already, is sign into Skype. Then you can type the URL that's given here. And what I can do is just put it in your chat box so that it's easier for all of you to click on. Yeah. And then you have to click on the video button to start the call. And if you join after the start of the call, click join call. And I'm sure you'll be able to do this. If you, as I said, if you haven't joined Skype, please join Skype and then choose your country group and join in. And we encourage you to have your country calls tonight. So thank you all for being a great audience. But before we go, I would like to invite Alain to have the platform. Please, Alain, over to you.
Okay, thank you, Shalini. Thank you very much. So I just want to warmly thank Martha and Imran for their great contribution, but also Francois for the really important suggestion and advice about our work. I would like to thank everyone in the room here and wishing you really a good time with your project. I know that now we know exactly what to do and where to submit our project, but also I want to remind that first mandatory report that we have to submit, please, is mandatory as submitting the project before Friday. So these are the deadlines that are important. And then I will invite you to follow up tomorrow morning with our technical support session if you still need help at 11 a.m. Geneva time. And in the afternoon at 5 p.m. Geneva, you will have Francois and Charlotte for working through the challenge you are having and even into the content of your work. So I will stop here and then
Thank you so much.
warmly thank everyone.
Thank you. And Charlotte, I would like you to give some concluding remarks and close the session, please.
All right, so thank you very much, Shalini. Thanks to Francois. Thanks to everyone that was able to join this session. And special thanks to Martha and Mohammed for sharing their experiences, sharing their projects with us. I am sure a lot of those in the room learned something from that. So I just want to remind us that you keep working, and if you have any difficulties, we are always available. The platforms are there, and all the links have been shared. So I just want to wish everyone the best of this week, success in the project, working on the projects, and I hope everyone will meet the deadline and continue to stay COVID safe. Bye, and see you tomorrow. Daily lightning session, 6 p.m. Geneva time with Francois and myself. If you didn't have the opportunity to speak today, definitely you'll have that tomorrow when you're with us. Bye, we are together.
Great. Thank you. Thank you so much, Charlotte. Thank you so much, Alain, and a very big thank you to Francois. All the best to you all. So signing off from here, and we hope that you have a great day, great evening. Stay well and stay safe. Bye for now.
Bye, Shalini.
Bye,
And
Shalini. Thank you.
Good night to you.
Good night.
Yeah, good night.